This is the Genesee County Compassion Club show. Back in the host here, back in the studios at allpointstv.com. And I'm feeling naked right now. I don't have my headset. We have a little bit of technical issues, but no big deal. I can't talk to John right now, so not only am I naked, but I'm isolated. He's laughing at me, but you can't hear that. All right, I want to get going. I got the Genesee County Compassion Club events. Want to tell you guys what's happening. We've got an art show coming up this weekend, and this is going to be not actually at the club. It's going to be just down the plaza, just a few doors down from the club, but this is our pop-up art village, and hope you guys can come on out. This is going to be on, let's see, Friday, October 5th. Starts at 3 p.m. It's open to the public. We're going to have different artists come in, set up their booths, and then people can come in and check out their art. Maybe take something home, decorate your house, whatever. It's a good time to get out, have some fun, and get to support people in the community, see the different art that's being made, and maybe inspire yourself to create something. So, yeah, but that's a pop-up village. That's this Friday. Like I said, just a couple doors down, basically on the other side of the bingo hall. You'll see it. That's this Friday. So tell your friends and family, get them out there. It's a good time to come out. And then, of course, you can stop by the Growing Concern, grab a bite to eat if you're hungry, or a smoothie, whatever. Had some hot tea, all that good stuff. All right. Speaking of hot stuff, we've got the soup kitchen going on. I always want to remind everybody about that. It's the third Tuesday of each month, so that'll be coming up here in a little bit. Had a good turnout this last time. I think it was like 160 people got served. So that's freaking pretty sweet. And definitely could use your help this next time coming around. Also, just was it last weekend or 2 weekends ago? 2 weekends ago now, we had our Adopt a Highway, and I wanted to say thank you for all the volunteers that showed up and helped us clean up M13 one more wonderful time, and the road is looking great thanks to you. So thank you guys. I appreciate you showing up. Karen, you kicked ass, made it happen, and I know everybody got fed well because they got gift certificates to the Growing Concern when they got back to the club, so that's pretty cool too. But thanks again. Definitely appreciate you guys showing up and helping out. It turned out to be nice weather for us, so I'm certainly thankful for that, and not too much garbage. I mean, yeah, we had some, but it wasn't really too bad. So it was a nice day for a walk, really. All right, so those are our events got going on. Of course, club's a beautiful time to be there every day, Monday through Saturday. Get in there. And I want to let you guys know what else is going on. I got some other items here I want to share with you, get you guys up to speed on some of the medical marijuana news that's happening around the country, and whatever else we want to talk about, right? All right, so first thing I want to get into, and I know I talked a lot about the law and the changes coming up here in Michigan over the last few podcasts. I want to get away from that today and just kind of get back to talking about cannabis in general. So first thing I want to get into, and I'm going to split it up here today. First thing I'll get into is finance. It's pretty interesting watching cannabis go legit, if you will. There's a lot of big news on the markets as far as cannabis investing, and I wanted to give you guys an opportunity to check it out for yourself. So if you're unaware, you can check this out online. It's pretty simple. Get yourself a stockbroker if that's what you need to do. But let me get you some information on some of the shakers in the industry right now, and you can make your own assumptions. I'm not telling you who to invest with. All right, but in the news right now, we've got a couple different companies. Canopy Growth is a big one in Canada. Parent company basically being the same company that owns Corona. So you've heard of the beers, right? Same company, ideally. They bought a majority stake in Canopy Growth just this last year. Stocks have continued to go up. And of course, this is on the precipice of Canada going full legalization here in really just a matter of a couple weeks. I don't know the actual deadline rollout. It seems like they're kind of being vague about it. But at any rate, it's basically going full legit. It's already done, and it's happening. So Canada is about to blow up, and Canopy Growth's one of them that you can get in on. It's already a stock. It's in the Canadian exchange. It's up to you. All right. Another one I want to mention is Tilray. And actually, Tilray was in the news here. Excuse me. Tilray was in the news here because basically parent company said they're not going to be investing as much as they thought, so their stock kind of tumbled. But they're another big company out there that you might want to check out. Another one is Hydropothecary. Okay, their parent company is basically Molson or Coors. So again, big alcohol in there. Yeah, they're in the biz too, and that's another one that you can check out. Another one here, True Live. Anyways, smaller company, but they're out of Florida. And these guys have been awarded basically all of the dispensary licenses in Florida so far. So they're doing quite well at this point. But at any rate, that is another stock that is out there that you can check it out. Again, that's True Live. Another one is Pyxis or Pyxis. I'm not sure exactly how to say that. Another big company. And then, of course, there's a few IPOs out there as well. So these are companies that are going to be going public. They haven't yet. And you have an opportunity to buy into them right now if you'd like to. One of them is called Curaleaf. It's another one. And, of course, I'm sure most of you have heard about the High Times IPO stock offering as well. So currently right now, obviously, a lot of big changes in the marijuana industry. And I feel like a lot of you guys at the club, you know, you're the leaders. You know what I mean? And so really, you have an opportunity to continue being a leader in this industry, and looking at these might be a viable option for you to making sure that you do. So I just want to put that out there. I mean, obviously, it's not something that we ever got to talk about before in the podcast. I mean, years ago, we started this thing, 10 years ago, John? We had, a totally different perspective on the cannabis industry. We knew it was going to be coming here to this point someday, and it's finally here. So, cannabis is going legit. That's the bottom line. It's going legit. It's going mainstream. And when you have companies like Corona or Coors or Budweiser getting in the game, some of them aren't in, but they're speculating, so on and so forth. Oh, I think the one I forgot to mention, Tilray. Tilray is basically owned by Pepsi-Cola. So these are big, giant megalith corporations that are looking at getting into the biz. And then there's smaller subsidiaries, like I mentioned, Canopy and so on. Hey, you guys all watched the dot-com bubble happen. Most of you were old enough to watch that. Some of you participated, and some of you might have even benefited from it. And we've seen other bubbles come and go. We've seen the real estate market bubble come and go. We've seen, quite a few of these other things present opportunity. And here, cannabis is the next one. It's the next big thing. It's in Fortune magazine. It's on Wall Street. It's going that way. And if you want to get in, this is the time to do it. And I know a lot of folks think, well, I don't have enough money to invest. You can get started with small amounts, all right? I'm not a broker. I'm not telling you what to do, but I'm encouraging you to check it out if you can. It's a great way to start putting some money aside, try to build yourself a portfolio if you don't already have one. And it's exciting because you are already a part of the industry. So you might have a little bit more insight, a little bit more knowledge about this particular opportunity than you've had in the past. And I could correlate it or compare it to a car. Most of us all drive a car, or we've at least ridden in a car. And most of us were not around when vehicle companies started offering stock. So you can understand now, the kind of an example that we have here. You're at the beginning. You're at the precipice of a new industry, and this is your time to check it out and maybe take advantage of it. All right? So, who knows? They might bubble burst too. As the other previous bubbles have bursted, this will burst eventually if it gets to be too big. That's how bubbles work. So you do need to still be careful, but it might be something worthwhile looking into. All right? I could get into some of the numbers, the investments and stuff like that. I'm not going to bore you with all that information because really that's something that you should compare on your own or with your broker and try to make your own investment strategies. And of course, as most people would tell you, you don't want to put all your eggs in one basket. So just general information. All right. Something else I wanted to share with you guys. And actually, this is from Forbes magazine. I'm pull this up here. This is talking about regulation, and there's obviously a lot of different statewide measures going on. Here in Michigan, obviously in November, we have our own statewide ballot going to test. We're going to get to vote on that in November of whether or not we should have cannabis for legalization for adults. Here's what else is going on around the country, okay? So we have Colorado. It's called Amendment X. And it's basically a hemp definition. And this is right from Forbes if you want to check this out for yourself. It says, shall there be an amendment to the Colorado Constitution concerning changing the industrial hemp definition from a constitutional definition to a statutory definition? And then yes or no. I'm not going to get into the details on each one of these because we'd spend the whole doggone podcast probably talking about each one of them. But so that's one of the things, basically talking about changing the definition of industrial hemp. Obviously, the implications of that are going to correlate to how it is regulated and whether or not something needs to be regulated or not. And that's what's going on in Colorado. Michigan, I already mentioned them. That's on the list here in the Forbes article. Simply marijuana legalization. North Dakota, also marijuana legalization. Their measure would amend their century code by removing hash, marijuana, THC from the list of Schedule I controlled substances. It would create a chapter, new chapters defining the terms marijuana and marijuana paraphernalia, and prohibit prosecution of any person over the age of 21 for a nonviolent marijuana-related activity, including growing, manufacturing, distributing, selling, or testing. Blah, 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 blah. So basically, yes, marijuana legalization for North Dakota. It's on the ballot. Michigan's not the only one considering this option this November. Next place of interest is Missouri. All right, Missouri with their Amendment 2 for medical cannabis. It says here, shall the Missouri Constitution be amended to allow the use of marijuana for medical purposes, create regulation, licensing, certification, blah, 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 impose a 4% tax, use funds for health and military vets, and so on and so forth. And then they've got proposals on how much they expect to generate from this. So Missouri, another state now considering medical marijuana, and this will be on the ballot in November for voters to choose. All right. Moving on here. Well, let me back up, actually. It appears that Missouri has quite a few options. They've got Proposal A, Proposal B, and Proposal C. Looks like one of them is for medical. The next one is for medical as well. Just has a higher cost of tax. A couple other differences. And then also another one for medical as well, Proposition C. All right, we could probably spend a whole podcast just talking about Missouri, so I'm going to leave it at that. But it appears that voters are going to have 3 different choices for medical marijuana. Yes or no being the answer for each one of those, but obviously it gives them options as to what they would like to see. I really have no idea what they would do if all of them got voted yes. Or some did or some didn't. We'll have to see. Might have to talk more about that on a different podcast. I don't know how many folks here are really interested in what's going on in Missouri. It's good to see that they're providing people some options, at least. That's good. I do know what's going on in Missouri, though. The Ozarks. You guys like that show? What's up? Awesome. Netflix. Watch it. All right, next one. Utah. Hey, sorry. Utah. Next state. Proposition 2, medical cannabis. Same thing here, medical cannabis, blah, 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 blah. And okay, now we have local measures. Ohio and Dayton, they want to decrim marijuana. In Fremont, Ohio, they want to do another possible decrim, lowering penalties for misdemeanor marijuana offenses to the lowest penalties allowed by state law. Also in Norwood, another looks like lowest level enforcement adoption there. All right, next state, Oregon, says, shall the supposed sensible marijuana ordinance, which lowers the penalty for misdemeanor marijuana offenses to the lowest penalty allowed by state law, be adopted? That's in Oregon. lowest level enforcement for a town in Oregon called Windham, another one. Wisconsin, marijuana advisory question, Brown County. Should cannabis be legalized in Wisconsin for medical purposes and regulated in the same manner as other prescription drugs? Yes or no? And that is in Brown County, Wisconsin. So it is very interesting to see how these all play out. Clark County also has a similar question, again, in Wisconsin. Dane County, similar question. Actually, this one's a little bit different. It says marijuana, should it be legalized, taxed, and regulated in the same manner as alcohol for adults 21 years of age and older? Eau Claire, I'm not sure how you say that. Eau Claire County, Wisconsin, 21 years and older. Legal for medical purposes. Currently remain an illegal drug. So looks like they get some choices in Eau Claire County. Forest County, state of Wisconsin still. Should they allow individuals with debilitating medical conditions to use and safely access marijuana? Kenosha County, another medical thing. La Crosse County, adults 21 and over. Langlade County. Wow, I don't know a lot about politics in Wisconsin, but I find it pretty interesting that each one of these counties is voting separately, and some of them are voting for medical, some of them are voting for recreational. Pretty profound there. So you could potentially be in one county that says, yeah, if you're 21 and over, you can have this, and the next county over, no, you got to be a medical patient to possess that. Pretty interesting. Lincoln County, Marathon County, Marquette County, again, these are all in Wisconsin. Milwaukee County, Portage County, Racine County, Rock Counties. It looks like almost, I don't know how many counties are in Wisconsin. A lot of freaking counties. And even right on down to the city of Waukesha. Again, Wisconsin. Should cannabis be legalized in Wisconsin for medicinal purposes and regulated in the same manner as other prescription drugs? Yes or no? So quite a few different things on the ballot around the country. Michigan, of course, being one of the states to participate in this, and that's pretty exciting. And as we have seen over the past few elections, the ball just keeps rolling. I think we have 8 states now where cannabis is legalized for adult recreational purposes. I think there's like 28 or more some states right now that have medical cannabis options available for patients, albeit some of them are extremely restrictive. So don't think that like you can walk into the state of New York and expect to find medical marijuana at your local provisioning center. It's not there, and they don't exist. But they have medical marijuana as a state. So at any rate, lots of differences. Really amazing to see how this continues to just get trickled down. And eventually, I mean, it's just going to be legalized. It's going to be regulated. We know that as well. But it's going to be legalized. And I think it's preposterous that we still have these pocketed areas, you know, in various parts of the state, various parts of the country, where cannabis is 100% still prohibited, where people are spending an enormous amount of resources to criminalize folks for using this product. When clearly there's a snowball going on, it's gaining traction, it's getting bigger, and that snowball is legalization. I think we need to jump forward, and we need to, I mean, we got to start taking a smarter approach to this. And I guess I take that with a tongue in cheek, because I know that smart approach to marijuana is kind of like the opposition group to legalization here in Michigan. But when I say smarter about cannabis, I'm talking about we need to have laws that are going to get this stuff legalized, quit prosecuting folks for it, make it available, regulate it, tax it if you have to, but quit, at the very least, quit putting people in jail and through our court systems because of this product. It's just simply, it's archaic at this point. It doesn't make sense anymore. All right, so let's move on here. I did want to share some interesting medicinal things that I came across this week. This is from leafly.com, and some of the strains out there that are being studied, being used, they're being found to be effective for specific ailments. And of course, a lot of us have known this from the beginning, that certain strains are good for certain things. I think the most basic conversation that a lot of us have as caregivers is explaining the difference between sativas and indicas and what one is good for and what the other one is typically good for. So today we're going to get a little bit more specific than just talking about indica versus sativa. But the reason I have the terpene wheel behind me is because really, in reality, the terpenes are controlling the effects of your cannabis more than anything else out there. One of the comments that I ran across while I was doing some studies for this podcast was that, THC or cannabinoids is kind of like the gas in the vehicle, if you will, and the terpenes are kind of like the steering wheel and the driver. They kind of direct where that vehicle is going to go. And again, with the cannabinoids being the gas, it's going to go. We just have to direct which way is it going to go. And the terpenes are one of the major factors that do that. So if we can find out what terpenes we're looking for, what type of effect it is that we want to have, then you can sort of start to narrow down something between, just saying, well, I'd like to have a sativa for this particular ailment. Now you can be a little bit more specific and say, well, I'd like a sativa that's got this type of terpene. I know that I'm going to be able to identify that because this terpene smells like, let's say, oranges, or this one smells like earthy, smells like almost like dirt, or maybe this one smells like cinnamon. So there's a lot of different ones out there. Cannabis is known to contain an abundant variety, a veritable plethora of terpenes, and you really get an amazing different combination of these terpenes in every different type of strain. So the more we can know about terpenes and how they affect us, the more effective we can be at selecting our cannabis. And if we go to the Leafly article here, if you want to check this out for yourself, I definitely recommend that you do. One of the interesting things I found here is that certain terpenes were associated with high CBD strains. And I've personally been able to procure a couple different CBD strains. There were similarities between the two, but I wouldn't necessarily say that they're exactly the same. They certainly had different terpenes present, but they were also certainly seeming to be a part of the same family, at least in my experience. The ones that I came across, they both finished out in a purple color. They had similar smells to them. The test results were similar as well. So does that mean that all CBD strains are going to exhibit these characteristics? No, but the majority of them are going to exhibit certain characteristics. Let's talk about what those are. Let's see if we can find one. Cannatonic, which is a pretty popular CBD strain. One of the main terpenes that you're going to find in Cannatonic is mercerine. All right. Another one is caryophyllene. I'm not sure if I'm saying these right. Please forgive me. It may be caryophyllene. John can't hear me because our speaker thing broke, so he can't help me. Maybe you can help me. Caryophyllene. The other one is limonene. So these are the main terpenes that are found in CBD dominant strains, or at least in Cannatonic. Another strain is called Dance Hall. This is a CBD strain as well. Again, mercerine, limonene, and caryophyllene. Same terpenes being the same dominant terpenes in this strain as well. Harlequin, another CBD strain. This one, mercerine, caryophyllene, and also A-pinene. So a little bit different mix there. But again, the two dominant ones, mercerine and caryophyllene, being the dominant terps in this strain. And I don't think it's a coincidence, put it that way. Another one, Remedy. I haven't heard of this strain, but it is a CBD strain according to the data here. Mercerine, caryophyllene, and A-pinene again. Sour Tsunami, mercerine, terpenoline. John's like, I don't know. And caryophyllene again. So those are just a number of different strains. They're all CBD type strains. It doesn't mean it's all CBD, but it does mean that they are high in CBD. It is a dominant cannabinoid in there, more so than THC. So these are different strains that are all like that, all fit in that family. And as you can see, the caryophyllene, the mercerine, limonene, pinene, A-pinene, that is, all very common terpenes found in these CBD strains. So, and obviously CBD being the cannabinoid driver that we're looking for. Similar like the THC and the gas I was just talking about, this one's got CBD in the gas tank. So I think it's very interesting stuff, and I think it also helps us understand the importance of these terpenes. Here's another article. This is also from Leafly, also about terpenes. These are terpenes that, I skipped over my article here. I believe these are terpenes that help with anxiety. I don't know if I can pull this up here. Here we go. So this is not necessarily a CBD or THC list. I do believe that the majority of these are going to be THC dominant strains. But at any rate, these are terpenes that can help you with anxiety. So, and I know the common answer a lot of folks would probably say is that, you know, if you're looking for a strain that's going to help with anxiety or that's going to help you relax, you're looking for an indica. Let's be a little bit more specific about your indica. A terp that you're looking for is terpenoline. It's dubbed as the least common terpene. It says it may be hard to find, but it packs extra sedating effects while boosting anti-cancer and antioxidant potential. Fill your home with bouquets of lilacs, bushels of apples, or buy a few terpenoline forward strains to get the most out of this fragrant terpene. Another terpene associated with relaxation is mercerine. We were just talking about that. It's being one of the dominant ones in CBD strains. It's a pretty dominant terpene in general. You'll find it in a lot of cannabis. It is known for calming you down. It's a good thing. Caryophyllene, the other one I also previously mentioned. This one's associated with being spicy and peppery. It reduces pain, quells stress, and also it's helpful with insomnia, helping you get some sleep. So that's a good thing. Mercerine, or mycerine, not sure how you say this, M-Y-R-C-E-N-E. Blueberries, all right, that's what you would associate with mercerine or mycerine. I know there's blueberry strains out there, or strains that are similar to a blueberry smell. A very sedative type terpene. Long-lasting euphoria associated with it as well. And some of the strains that they're talking about here, blueberry is one of them for the mercerine. Granddaddy Purps is another one. Granddaddy Purple, whatever you want to call it. Another one that's dominant with mycerine in it. Sensi Star. This is a strain that has terpenoline. The first one that I mentioned, Sensi Star. Another one that's good for calming you down. Cherry Pie, another strain, contains a lot of caryophyllene in it, and it's also good for a peaceful addition to any sleep. Purple Kush, mercerine. So, let's see here. Hindu Kush, Purple Afghani, a couple of the other ones they mentioned as well. So, at any rate, again, back to the terpenes is really what you're looking for. So, mycerine, caryophyllene, mercerine, terpenoline, and basically those are the big ones right there. And limonene as well. Nope, I take that back. I don't see limonene on here. That was on the other one. It was on the CBD, right? So terpenoline, mycerine, and caryophyllene are your main ones here that are going to be known for providing you comfort, bringing down your levels of anxiety, may also assist in sleep, and so on. As I stated, the caryophyllene, it kind of associates itself with being peppery, spicy. You might think it actually smells like black pepper. Mercerine, that's sort of associated with like lemongrass, lemon type of things. There's a couple out there that are in the lemon or citrus type family, so you have to sort of be careful about trying to identify those. And terpenoline, I guess that's in a couple of different things. They're saying fill your home with bouquets of lilacs and bushels of apples, or just get a strain that has it in it. So, all right. But I think that terps are often overlooked. I know that right now a lot of folks are really into testing, which is great. It's good to identify the amount of cannabinoids that are present in your medication, but understanding that the cannabinoids are not the only thing in your medication that's offering you a medicinal effect. The terpenes are a big part of that, and terpenes on their own offer medicinal benefits. So having those in combination with your cannabinoids and them working synergistically provide the overall effect that you're feeling from your cannabinoid use, all right, your cannabis use. So I I think it's important to know that, because you're not going to get a terpene in a pill. If you go down to the hospital and they give you some Marinol, does it have THC in it? Yes, it does. But it does not have any terpenes. It is non-present. They've all been removed. So could that have been a more effective medication? Yes, it could have. But you won't have that opportunity if it's in a pill form. And the same thing, like this new drug we talked about last week or a couple weeks ago, Epidiolex, which is basically a matchup, a 50-50 matchup, or CBD, THC. At this time, they're offering it as an inhaler. But again, there's no terpenes there. They've all been removed scientifically, broken down, scratched off, whatever. They're gone. So you're missing out, is what I'm telling you. You're missing out. It is the whole plant that provides the whole benefit. All right, and you can't just take one part of it and forget about the rest. All right, so that's my little speech on terps. I recommend you get more familiar with them. Try to get better at identifying them. You might be able to pick out some of your favorite strains in the future when you're seed hunting or you're trying to find the next clone, and do a better job for yourself if you have an understanding of the terps that should be available in that strain and that you're trying to bring out. I know a lot of folks out there would like to find, the strain that tastes like pine cones, myself included. Well, we need to find a strain that's got a lot of pinene in it, and that's where that scent comes from. So knowing these things can help you make better selections, and they can also help you make better selections for yourself when it comes to your health and understanding how is this strain going to affect me, what should I expect from it. So good stuff to know. Definitely encourage you to research more on that and share the information that you find. All right. In culture, I wanted to share a couple things with you. We've got a couple different things that are heading up that I thought were kind of interest. And one of them is right here in Michigan at the University of Michigan. Students are leading a live stream marijuana education workshop. And I think it's actually already over. So it was on the 29th. And it was for the first Green Wolverine Science Symposium in Ann Arbor, Michigan, to discuss the future of cannabis. The event, in the collaboration with the University of Michigan College of Pharmacy and School of Nursing, will be open to the public, or was open to the public, and the topics of the discussion include cannabis' role in medicine, treating pain, sleep disorders, PTSD, as well as improving marijuana industry's research, development, and testing. The symposium was organized by Green Wolverine, the first student-based business organization dedicated to networking and advancing cannabis industry's education and opportunities. Founded by University of Michigan student Adam Rosenberg in early 2017, is a nonprofit with about 350 members and chapters, including the University of California, Berkeley, University of Maryland, Syracuse. It says disclosure, Weed Maps, marijuana.com's parent company, is on Green Wolverine's board of advisors. So at any rate, Adam says, I founded Green Wolverine immediately following the year where I spent 6 months working in a dispensary in Ann Arbor. He's a student in Michigan's Ross School of Business, and it says it opened his eyes to the real professional opportunities that exist in the industry, which go so far beyond the dispensary and cultivation roles, but also the ancillary products and services. All right. So it says the main factor that differentiates our science symposium is that it's completely organized and run by students, Rosenberg told marijuana.com. The one impact I would like to see would be, through this event, really kickstarting additional research projects. So kind of cool. Says, had good attendance. Cannabinoid-based medicines do have a place in Western pharmacology. There's a comment by Juan Aguirre, who's a senior at Michigan School of Nursing and Green Wolverine's medical research chair. So it is interesting, and I think it's good to see people, especially young people, who are getting into the professional world, industries such as pharmacology, so on and so forth, to also consider cannabis as a medicine and as a treatment option for their patients. I think anytime that we can have a more open-minded approach to medicine and to health, the more we have an opportunity to discover ways to help each other. And it doesn't have to be always the same dogma, same avenues that are always presented. And it's good to see people from these other avenues start to look over their cubicle sidewalls, if you will, and realize there's other solutions out there. And just because it doesn't come from Pfizer or from BCBS, it can still be legitimate. It can still be effective. It can still be medicine. So that's good. All right. Another interesting article I had to share with you because I thought this is really interesting. Former Israeli Prime Minister Ehud Barak, I think that's how you say his name, is going to be serving as medical marijuana firm's chairman. He was appointed a chairman of an Israeli medical cannabis company. The company Intercure announced on the 26th of 2018 that Barak would be coming on board as chairman. Of course, he served as prime minister for Israel from 1999 to 2001, as well as defense minister as a member of the Labor and Independence parties from 2007 to 2013. Obviously, this gentleman is a world leader. Ehud Barak, if you didn't know about him before, this is the first time you're hearing about him, you've been in the bush. All right, this guy is he was tied to the bushes since I said the word bush, but definitely a world leader. And for those of you that don't know, Israel has been the leader in cannabis research for over 50 years. They have taken it seriously from the very beginning, and have dealt with it as a medicine from the beginning as well. So their research is extensive. Really, anything we do in the United States is really, you're just reinventing the wheel. They've already done it and probably did it 30, 40 years ago. We really need to take a careful look at the information that Israel has been able to procure, been able to utilize, and we should do this from a cost-saving perspective, if nothing else. It's already been done. It's already been researched by people who are legitimized, recognized, and have no reason to do it over again. So, and this is confirmation that they are no joke. I mean, you're taking a former prime minister. I mean, that would be similar to like if Bill Clinton stood up and said, "Hey, I'm going to be CEO of Canna Group," or whatever it is. You know what I mean? I mean, it's the same thing. This guy was the former prime minister, and now he's taking over as chairman of a cannabis company. So clearly, Israel is ahead of us in cannabis. They have been and will continue to be. And I think this kind of continues to cement that. I would hope that people in our leadership in our United States, and especially here in Michigan, would just take the time to look across the pond and to recognize the work, the research, the progress that has been made by what this country has done. In spite of how you may feel about Israel, whether or not that's irrelevant to this, the fact is we have medicinally confirmed, researched, verified material that should be shared with the world, and we're fools if we don't at least ask to see it. All right, why would we want to go spend millions of dollars? I think it's great that this gentleman here from the U of M and the group that he's starting. That's fantastic. We need things like that, but we don't need to pay for research that's already been done. Okay, when we do research in this state, whether it's through a university or through some other institution, 9 times out of 10, that is a taxpayer-funded expense. We don't need any additional expenses. Okay, we've got plenty. So let's utilize what's already been done. Let's encourage our leaders to take a look at other leaders' research and let's utilize it. All right, and maybe with a guy like this, Ehud Barak, being a world leader and now being a chairman, maybe they could take his word for it if they couldn't take yours. So, all right, guys, that's what I got for you this week. That's the cannabis news around the world. I hope you enjoyed it. Looking forward to be back here next week. Looking forward to seeing you guys hopefully at the art fair on Friday. It should be lots of fun. Bring out the family and have a good time. There's no charge. Just show up, walk around, enjoy it, and maybe take some art home. Right? You decorate your place, get it ready for the fall season and all that. Autumn is here, right? So get out there and enjoy it. I know that a lot of you outdoor cannabis gardeners are working your tails off right now. So good luck to you. I know the frost isn't getting too thick yet, so you should still be safe. And best of luck to you, all right? Work hard. Keep those scissors chomping, and make sure you do your best to try to make sure everything's labeled, all right? It's real important. Okay, that's what I got for you this week. Thanks for joining me this week at allpointstv.com. John, thanks for being in the studio. Definitely appreciate it. Thank you guys for being down there at the Genesee County Compassion Club, making it happen every day. You're the reason it is there. I appreciate it so much. You guys have a fantastic week. Enjoy autumn. Get to the pumpkin patch if you can. Take your Mucinex. Get extra vitamin C. And I'll see you here next week on the Genesee County Compassion Club show. See ya.